Someone asked what they should be devoted to. You could be devoted to anything. It really doesn't matter what you're devoted to. All that matters is that there is devotion. Devotion is love directed towards an object. So whatever your object may be, maybe it's a person, maybe it's some creative project, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that there's devotion. So it's this love that's directed towards a person, or it's this love that's directed to a creative project. But devotion is really this quality of being. You are experiencing love, and that's all that matters. Because in that experience of love, you feel one with the person, or you feel one with your creation. It's this aroma, this perfume, this experience of devotion that makes life sweeter. Life is dry without devotion. Life is difficult without devotion. Whether you identify as being a devotee is not important either. You could be devoted and never hear the word devotee. You could be devoted and never even know what that word even means. All you know is you are experiencing love. And this love is pouring out of you, directed towards an object of your choice, something that you have fallen in love with, something that you are willing to give your heart to. Really, in this devotion, you are devoid of your ego, your small self. The devotee dissolves in devotion. You find that you are simply losing yourself in this experience of love, that you are dissolving in this experience of love. You are dissolving in devotion. That these boundaries that were once experienced are simply disappearing. That it feels like you are merging with the object of choice, the object that the love is going towards, being directed to. And this perfume, this fragrance, this aroma just continues to get stronger. The sweetness of the devotion only becomes sweeter. Life only becomes juicier. So it's not important what you are devoted to. That simply being devoted to anything, you start experiencing devotion within yourself. And this devotion has a purification process to it. It has a way of purifying the mind. That you feel pure. You don't need a reason to do things. You don't need discipline because you are devoted. You're not trying to understand things intellectually because you are simply trusting your heart. This love is consuming you. It's guiding you. You're following your heart. And if this love wants to express itself in this way or that way, towards this object or towards that object, there's simply this surrender to this love. That it's in devotion that we surrender. So there's no need to conceptualize things and intellectually understand things when there's devotion. With a pure heart, there's this feeling of purity and innocence. And this is enough to take you all the way. By simply surrendering, because this devotion quality, this experience of love, is so full. You can simply let go of everything. That there's something that is dissolving in this devotion. So who you think you are is no more, and what remains is simply love itself. And this devotion only grows. This love is all-inclusive. So it didn't matter what you started out with as your object of choice, what you are devoted to, because in the end, there is only devotion. There's devotion to everything. That the devotee disappears in devotion. And all that remains is devotion. All that remains is love. Love is whole. Love is unity. Love has no limits. So there's devotion for everything. Like I said, it's more of a quality. It's something that blossoms in your being. As it's blossoming, there's a fragrance to it. There's a sweetness to it. Not only are you experiencing it, but others can experience this around you. It's very soft. It's very gentle. It's very sweet. It's very innocent. It's very pure. It's very heartfelt. And this path of devotion is really trusting your heart, following your heart, where there's no need to understand things mentally, understand everything conceptually, needing to know how everything is going to unfold. So there's this wonder, this childlike wonder, where you don't know. There's this innocence. But it's with this pure heart that you don't get stuck in the mind. You don't feel lost because you're guided by love. You don't feel alone because you feel one with everything. This sense of separation is decreasing as the devotion is growing. And that's why at first, whatever the object was of choice feels very much like you are one with it. The person that you are devoted to, it feels like you're one with them. That these borders are just melting. Or perhaps it's some sort of creative project. You're one with that creation. That it's the love that's creating. You're in love with the process. There's no separation. It's an expression of love. So the sense of borders and boundaries just starts dissolving. It may start feeling like, at first, like you were connected, but then it's beyond a connection. Feels very much like merging. It feels much like expanding in the sense that you are expanding and including, like an embrace. And as this devotion continues to grow and grow, who you think you are is dissolving more and more. That you are devoid of who you think you are. And there's simply this devotion that's growing and growing and growing. And as it continues to grow and grow, there's just more that's included, more that's embraced. This capacity to love is increasing. And what was once just a person or a creative project or an object that you were devoted to, you start noticing that it's beyond just that one object, just that one person, just that one activity. That simply just being devoted to that one object was like planting the seed of devotion, that it just needed something to start it, to sprout this devotion within you. But then it starts taking over. It's not limited to just that one object, just that one person, just that one activity. It starts expanding, where it's more than even a quality. That you discover that it's what you are. That this devotion is really just a flavor of love, and love is what you are. That this devotion was the love that was directed towards an object, or a person, or an activity, or something. And by experiencing it in yourself, you become familiar with the devotion that isn't dependent on something. That there's actually a devotion that's not a thing. It's not limited to just one thing. It's not limited to a thing. That you become familiar with this devotional quality that's non-objective, no thing. And you come to realize it's revealed that love is no thing and everything simultaneously. That everything is made of no thing. Everything is made of love. This is the unity. This is the ultimate reality that everything shares, everything is created from, that the manifestation is made of love. And knowing yourself as that love, that everything is made of, all that's left is the devotion, but not for a specific object. That this devotion is now all-inclusive. That love is universal. It's not limited. It's unlimited. It's infinite. So this path of devotion is a way that you can avoid getting stuck in the mind. Lost in the mind. Feeling alone. The path can be short and sweet. And that the entire journey can be enjoyed. That there's love for the journey. That when there's devotion, there's no concern for a destination. that you are so present. You're in love with what is. That you aren't trying to get anywhere. Because you're not trying to get anywhere, you're never lost. Because you're not trying to get anywhere, you never feel stuck. And as this devotion continues to grow and you become more and more inclusive and experience the oneness, you don't feel alone. And it's in this experience of unity that we call love that surrender arises. That the devotion can take you all the way home without ever reading any scripture, without having any knowledge of spirituality or anything like that. That this devotion purifies you. It removes the impurities. It does more than that. This devotion dissolves you. That you simply melt in love. And it's a very sweet journey. It's not like you're trying to mentally conceptualize everything, wanting to learn about everything. Which may feel dry. But instead, this path is very juicy. This path is really a path of inclusion. It's really a path of living totally. What was once a no has now become a yes. You're saying yes to life. There's this aliveness that's felt with this devotion. You're experiencing the fullness of life because you're including everything. Everything is embraced. So I said it feels very soft and gentle. Like you're absorbing everything. And with this absorption, with this expansion, with this growth, you feel one with everything. You're not excluding things. Everything on the path is simply met head on. It's accepted. It's this feeling that you are merging with whatever experience is right in front of you. Whatever this experience is, embraced, merged, accepted. So as much as it feels like there's part of you that's dissolving, there's also this undeniable quality of expansion. That everything is growing and you are simply opening more and more and more. That's why I said it's very symbolic to look at like a flower opening, blossoming. It's opening. And the more opening that you experience, the more of this sweet fragrance you start experiencing. And it's something that others can actually, I don't want to say smell, but they can sense. There's this energy that they can feel. It's kind of like what people say, that cliche line, love is in the air. It's like this aroma. They won't be able to put their finger on it. But you might notice that certain people that can smell and have an appreciation and are stopping to smell the roses, they actually do stop to smell the roses. And it feels like they come a little closer. And it's as if they can feel it in the air. And those people are included. It's kind of this path of like a snowball, snowballing down a hill. And it's simply getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it feels like a downward hill. It's really effortless. That life becomes easier with devotion. That with this devotion, there's less struggle. There's less struggle because there's less resistance. There's less resistance because this devotion brings with it surrender. That you're surrendering to the love that you are experiencing. That it's easy to surrender. It's just natural. That this resistance is just simply replaced with surrender. Any form of resistance that arises is just simply dissolved, dissolved, dissolved. It's just simply surrendered. Like I said, it feels like it just gets absorbed. As it embraces it, it's like it just melts. So it feels very soft and flowy. Very much how if you were to look at a gentle stream flowing over some rocks, there's a gracefulness. It's not smashing the rocks, but it's simply just flowing over them, flowing around. Whatever obstacle arises, it's just simply this flowing over it, around it. Where you don't have this feeling of being stuck. You're experiencing this flow, the flow of love that's moving you. And in most experiences, there's not really a you. There's just the flow of love that seems to be taking you in this direction or that direction, that seems to want to outpour here or outpour there, that wants to merge with this, merge with that, include this, include that, embrace, expand, grow. This boundless love that continues to go beyond, go beyond, go beyond. There's this feeling that your capacity to love is greater and greater and greater. So it's not that important what you're devoted to. it's like it just simply plants that seed. And over time, it starts growing. And as it's growing, your life is only getting more beautiful. Life is only getting sweeter. It's only becoming easier. It's only becoming more simple. You're experiencing more grace, less suffering, less separation, more oneness, less fear, more love. And it's this love that reveals itself to itself, by itself, as what you are. Hopefully this helps. I'll see you in the next one.